ACMI would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands and waterways of Greater Melbourne, the people of the Kulin Nation, and recognise that ACMI is located on the lands of the Wurundjeri people. We also acknowledge First Nations people as the original storytellers of this land, and recognise their significant contribution to the contemporary moving image.
Oh, all right. Maybe. There we go. Welcome back, everyone, to day 2. For those who weren't here yesterday, my name is Eden. I'll be your MC and host. And welcome to AusSpeedruns and ACMI's Speedrunning Weekend. Firstly, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands and waterways of Narm, the people of the Kulin Nation, and recognize that ACMI is located on the lands of the Wurundjeri people. I also pay my respects to elders past and present. Today we have even more fantastic speedruns coming your way, both here at ACMI and in Melbourne and watching us live. If you've still never heard of speedrunning before, you're in for a full time full of skips, tricks, and speedy gameplay. From the classics such as Super Metroid happening later on today, to even some more unknown gems such as Super Sammy Roll, the selection of runs being showcased today ought to be quite the treat. If this is your first time experiencing any of this, welcome. Feel free to speak to any of us. Running both video games and events like these are our passion, and we'd be more than happy to introduce any of this world to you. If you're here at ACMI with us today, you can please check out the ACMI shop downstairs, where there can be a handful of exclusive game merch, including Hollow Knight Silksong merch, as well as Celeste vinyls and much more. Get comfy, grab a snack, and stick around as our first run is about to start with a special race, of Spyro Year of the Dragon 100 Egg by Fady and Dact. Take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hey, hello, everyone. My name is Fady.
I'm Dact, and yeah, we'll be racing Spyro Year of the Dragon. This is the original game on the PS1 from 2000, not the remake that came out a little bit ago. I think we're going to start the game first, and because there's a little bit of annoying variance with the amount of time the game takes to load at the beginning, we're going to start and then start the timer once we get going. So just bear with us just a moment.
Yeah, because there's a PS2 functionality called Fast Disk Speed, and it can kind of make the cutscenes crash on us. Luckily, there's a workaround.
Yeah, but it just adds a little bit of variance in a race. So
so we'll typically just start from the first movement, and once we'll be ready to go.
Hold on a second. There we go. All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So the category that we're running today is called 100 Egg. You might wonder what that means. The intended way to progress through this game involves collecting a lot of those eggs. You saw us get one at the very beginning. There are 150 total in the game. You're supposed to need to collect 100 to beat the final boss. There is a skip that lets you get into the final boss early, which cuts the run roughly in half. But this category does not allow that, so you see a lot more of the game. And hopefully... Nice.
No, I did not get it. Yeah, basically what we're doing here is we're abusing the enemy's hitbox, and we're getting inside of it to eject us out. It's actually kind of an intended mechanic of the game, sort of just preventing Spyro getting stuck inside an enemy's hitbox. But of course, we're just going to try and abuse it so we can launch ourselves to incredible heights to get eggs early.
Yeah, unfortunately, this first level is pretty rough when it comes to the proxies. These proxies off the enemies here are quite annoying to pull off, and they save a lot of time. So you end up resetting in the first level quite a bit when you're doing attacks of this, but there is a lot of variance left though. So even if Fady's a bit behind out of the first level, it's all good. So, yeah, 100 eggs. The way to get eggs, there's a few different kind of ways to find them. Some of them are just sitting out in the levels just to find. Some you get from talking to NPCs, like beating levels that you get at the end of each level, and also just from completing the various like mini games and extra challenges that this game has. There's a big difference from Spyro 2, where they added a lot more kind of extra side content using like vehicles and different characters and stuff. It's not all just playing as Spyro. You'll see a little route difference here, I think. I think Fadey's going for a different... oh, he got it? Nice.
Yeah, I got a first try, which is... It's a scary one. Dax opted to admit it, which is a pretty smart decision, because there's a different route you can take using a trick called Whirlwind Bypass, which he just did. And pretty... Well, no, sorry, he's about to do after Cloud Spires. So I'll be entering Sheila's Alp first. He'll be entering Cloud Spires first.
Yeah, it's basically just two different ways to get what's called swim in air in the homeworld there. There's a lot of ways to do that in this game. The swimming state is... Like, water isn't a thing. There's just swim triggers that make you swim, and then like the level geometry is set up so that you can't escape a particular area while you're swimming. But turns out there's a lot of ways to escape those areas while swimming, and so you can get swim in air in lots of different ways. You'll see that a few times through the run, but the swim in air that Fadey went for and very impressively got straight away is very difficult, very precise position required, and I wasn't feeling up to it in a race.
Yeah, because it's a rather unique trick too. It's not an input-heavy, demanding trick. You literally just click one, you hold one button, that's it. But the position you have to get into is quite precise.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you can spend ages setting it up and make sure you get it, but then you lose all the time that you would have saved from doing it anyways. One effect of that, though, is that in this area that I'm in, this Bell Towers area, I get a different difficulty setting. So this game has adaptive difficulty. It's a mascot platformer from 2000 and has adaptive difficulty. Basically based on how much stuff you collect and how many times you die and just various things. Certain parts of the game will get easier or harder. But because I did Cloud Spires earlier, I get easy mode for this challenge, which is actually slower, so it's part of the time save from the route that Fadey did.
Yeah, luckily in this category, the adaptive difficulty outside of like that sort of one unique scenario doesn't really have a major impact. There's another category, any percent, that actually has a rather big difference in the second boss fight because of it. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward in 100 egg.
Yeah.
All right, so it might look like I'm very much behind Dact, but don't worry, we're just kind of swapping levels.
Different level order. I will now do the level that Fadey just did with Sheila, the kangaroo. It's one of the 4 like other characters that you can play as in this game. The way they're supposed to work is that you pay a bunch of gems to unlock them and unlock their level, and then once you've done that, you can access them in some other levels as well in like side areas. But turns out they're all quite easy to skip into. They're some of the easier sequence breaks that you can do in the game. And so we can cut out on... In a like full completion run, you can cut out on a lot of backtracking. And in this game, it means we don't have to collect gems at all.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing in 100 egg, because this was the old any percent, and it is rather unique for an intended sort of any percent run. We don't actually have to acquire any gems at all. So even though it's like a pretty long, like a decently long category in roughly about an hour, no gems are ever required in the run.
Yeah.
So any gem we ever pick up, that's just the way we have to move.
That does have the effect of making one trick that we're going to go for mandatory. We have to get it. You have to just keep going for it until you get it. But that will hopefully not be an issue. That's coming up fairly soon. Yeah, the other characters are all... They all have different movement. Sheila's kind of... Like, you can optimize Sheila's jumps. You can do what's called kick cancelling, where you kick at the... Like, during one of her high jumps, and it cuts the height, so you don't jump higher than you need to. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Ooh. So yeah, I got the slightly faster bell towers there that Dak was talking about. But yeah, not really a major difference. Yeah, this race will be much easier to follow along with once we're both out of our respective levels right now.
Actually, Fady just did a skip that I didn't even mention coming out of the bell tower area. You jump and then pause and exit, and it maintains some of the upwards momentum from the jump when you leave the area, and lets you glide to a platform that you're not supposed to be able to get to without paying money bags. So that's another way to skip gems.
So yeah, I just have to get this egg that Dak got earlier. Yeah. And then pretty much it's...
Once we enter this next level, the routes are back on the same. And then, yeah, that trick that I mentioned that we have to get, this is one of the most important ways to skip gems. It's a proxy off this boar at the beginning of the level. You get 2 attempts before you lose time, because I missed it the first time, I can get this egg instead. Die intentionally. Oh, Fady got it first. Yeah. Right, nice. Nice, okay. So that is fine. We'll end up doing slightly different routes in the level, because I got it second try and Fady got it first try. But in terms of time difference, it doesn't actually matter. Oh, nice. I got the early yellow thing.
Yeah, it's definitely the more stressful part of the race. So getting past it,
just went down a little bit. So that's
we don't bring up DreamHack.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up.
Don't, no. Oh, no. What? Okay, I'm just going to try.
Yeah, we're going to be approaching our second side character. It's actually the level, his level we'll be doing in Midday Gardens, the second homeworld. But we get to control Sergeant Bird 2, which... Flying penguin, but this side area is literally just break this down and collect the egg behind it.
There's a whole mini game there of like taking the tiki heads onto the statues, but that's really slow.
Yeah,
so
very slow.
A big part of like routing this category is just figuring out which eggs are the fastest to get, because you need to get like 2/3 of the total eggs. There are a handful that are not accessible until you beat the game, so they're just out straight away. But then, yeah, we just skip the slowest egg. The slowest, like, 50 eggs. So there's a lot of route variants possible, depending on, like, what tricks you want to do and, like, what stuff you find difficult. So it's kind of it's complicated, but also accessible to pick up, because you can just opt out of hard stuff if you want to and replace it with something else. Yeah, somehow I missed the red thief and fell off and died, so that's why that's how I lost time.
I generally thought you just, because normally it's pretty easy to miss at the first flame, so you just like run up a bit further, hit it with a second flame, but no, you could definitely do some embarrassing stuff on it.
So we're going to get all of the eggs in this level, Seashell. Sorry, no, we're not.
No, we used to. We used to.
Yeah, so this was actually one of the more recent, it's been a few years now, but like one of the more recent big route changes. We used to get all 6 eggs in this level, but one of the mini games, the sandcastle destruction thing, was rooted out a little bit ago.
Yeah, it's recent for anyone not named Jeremy Thompson, who is the world record holder for this category, by a long way too. But yeah, doing another little proxy there, just to get us up to the platform a bit earlier.
Oh, hi, Spot.
As you can see with Dak, it's not too bad if you miss it. There's a little backup, just a spin jump. Because yeah, we can kind of... I actually am really bad at explaining spin jumps.
Basically, Spyro's hitbox is not symmetrical. Like, it's shaped differently at the back than at the front. So if you can like get up to higher ledges if you jump facing away from the ledge.
All right, so this will be a mini boss in Bluto. It's a pretty straightforward one, but typically we want to maintain green sparks just so it makes the Buzz boss fight a little bit less scary. And I do not think I'll be maintaining that. And yeah, Seashell from here is pretty straightforward. We just have a tunnel minigame. It's pretty much just an auto-scroller.
Very easy to mess up though. Like it's one of those tricks. It's one of those sections a lot of people remember from when they played this casually.
Yeah.
It's like the controls in here are very annoying.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're playing this on a console that has a bit of input lag, this section becomes a lot more annoying.
Yeah.
But luckily we're on PS2, which has quite little input lag, which is nice.
Yeah, it's a PS1 game, but we play on PS2 for faster loading times, pretty much. Less lag.
This egg.
But yeah, we'll both be exiting Sunrise at a pretty similar time.
Yeah, not bad first worlds, honestly, for a rush.
And it's a pretty easy category to follow along with. Pretty much we just go through all the levels in the home worlds, collecting all the eggs that we sort of are the fastest in their respective levels. And pretty much we're using the end of level NPC eggs as our way to get to the next home world. So pretty much you just have to collect all the eggs that are the end of level NPC eggs to be able to enter the boss fight.
Yeah, and in the category I mentioned earlier where you can skip into the final boss, those are all you have to get. Because you need to beat all of the levels, get the end of level eggs to unlock the bosses, but then you can skip into the last boss, which maybe we'll show off after the run.
Listen carefully, you.
But yeah, out of all the boss fights we do in this category, this one is the most straightforward. It's extremely consistent. You just get Buzz to the corner. Oop, messed up a bit. That's okay, just get him in the lava, and once he's in the lava, it's a rinse and repeat boss fight.
Yeah, you can completely manipulate his AI.
Okay, well, I'd rather die on the first hit than respective
the
hits.
Buzz death.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's a classic. We say it's easy, but it's very easy to die as well. Like, it should be the same every time, but it's kind of precise. But yeah, he won't roll off the edge. So if you stand at the edge like this, you can make him stop before he gets to you. And then by facing the camera away from him, it makes him not do any of his attacks. Like, he normally puts up this like flame wall and like sneezes fire at you. It's this whole thing. But if you are not looking at him, he just doesn't do it.
Because yeah, it's the only boss fight in this game that's not determined by any RNG. Also, I am really badly screwing this up. That's okay. Got there in the end.
Alright. So right at the start of this world, after I speak to Bianca, I'm going to grab an egg in the river and then go for another swim in it. This one is very weird looking. You just kind of get yourself stuck in a acute angle under the bridge and just swim through the wall. Hopefully I get it straight away and can show what I
Yeah,
mean.
it's definitely one of the more inconsistent swimming airs.
Ah, miss it. Alright, we'll try again.
Okay, Drag.
There we go. Thank you.
Actually, so I almost got the thing where you could actually fall through the wall and not get the swimming air. Yeah. I felt it almost happening, and I was like, "Oop, bring it back."
Yeah, you have to like time your swim at the right point as Spyro's like bobbing up and down in the water. I just overlapped two cutscenes there. I collected that egg at the same time as I hit the target to unlock Enchanted Towers with the fireball. And it's... Oh, I just missed the bird. Nice. And it skips a cutscene. I can't find this portal. Where are we? There we go. What was happening there was the portals for levels that are not unlocked yet are stored out of bounds right underneath where they will end up being. The bird portal is quite small and there's no visual cue for it really, so that's why I missed it there.
Yeah, it's a rather interesting thing. The portals are visible in the first home world, and then after that it's pretty much just you just have to know where the positioning of the portal is underneath.
Yeah.
As you could tell, this game was very rushed.
Yeah, the general principle in both Spyro 2 and 3 actually is that if you weren't supposed to be able to reach a certain area, the textures just won't be solid. And because in both games you can reach a lot of areas that you're not supposed to be able to, they kind of underestimated how good the movement is. it's quite easy to get out of bounds most of the time. Oh, as if that missed. There we go.
Mission accomplished.
Oh damn, still pretty close.
No, yeah, we're at a pretty reasonable time.
Yeah.
But yeah. And you'll sense a pattern in this, because now the next level, we do another thing, which is a proxy. So proxies and swim airs very much dominate a lot of the levels in this category.
Yeah, this one's... I mean, it's not an enormous time save.
Nah.
You save like
It's about 10
or
seconds.
something. Yeah, but it's nice to get. I did not.
I got it, but not really.
Okay. There is a backup you can go for off the second croc that I just charged through, but it's really risky because if
Yeah,
you miss it and fall off the edge,
I am also just,
you usually die.
those piranhas there, for some I don't know why, they really don't want you to get out of that part of the water, and I just could not.
Yeah, the ledge is just slightly too high to jump up. It's very annoying. Oh, you got it the second.
Yeah, I got it the second try. Like, we'll pretend it's intentional, just to make my ego feel a bit better.
Life. I kind of need that.
You are
One thing you have to pay attention to when you're running this is your life count. There's quite a few death abuses that you can do to save time in this run. And especially in a race, there's a couple things that you might want to have extra lives for in case you fail. So something to be aware of. And there's even the most optimal route actually has a game over abuse in it. So then life counter becomes very important.
And yeah, the level Dak's about to enter actually has 2 distinct routes, but probably most likely.
I'm not going for bug.
Yeah, you're going for bug? That's fair, that's fair.
Imagine failing the spread.
Look, I'm just going to go for it. Pretty much, yeah, there's 2 distinct routes at this level, but it is not a big deal. It's about like 6-second difference.
I've struggled to even save that much time. I saved like 2 or 3 when I...
Yeah, it could be very challenging to save the amount of time you want.
But yeah,
Oh, I got the big one where I don't even have to do the spur.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very, very rare.
Yeah. Normally you need to do a trick called a spurter along the wall there, which is basically, it's a mix of Spider-Man and Spyro put together, so we called it Sproderman, and it gets shortened to spurtering, because you're basically just clinging onto the wall multiple times to maintain your height that you're at. But because I got the proxy height that I needed, I didn't actually even have to do that.
Yeah, I think I've got that once ever, the way that Fighty just got it there, so that's really impressive.
And the trick that Dak did at the start of the level is, it is a proxy, but it's a different one called a squeeze proxy. We're basically getting Spyro stuck between an object and himself, and he gets ejected out. It has the same principles, but instead of using an enemy's hitbox, it uses just a piece of geometry in the level.
Also, you might have seen us just grab an invisible egg under the bridge. That's once you beat the level, there's a thief that spawns, but the egg from that thief is just stored under that bridge, and so if you're swimming, you can just get it. Warning for the audio guys, this is the level that has the big explosion. There's a... when you get to the end of this level, you get some, you light some fireworks, and they blow up a statue, and the sound effects for the statue exploding is way too loud. I don't know why, but...
And this is pretty much the one level in the run that really we don't do any tricks for. Like, you can do a death abuse, which is seen in the world record for this category, but it's much easier to keep it simple and just run through. It only saves a few seconds.
Very small time save, with quite a difficult jump required as well.
Really, the only trick required in this level is earmuffs.
But yeah, volume warning right here. There we go. And one more. There. And then the same for Fady.
Yeah, there it is.
Oops.
It's something we don't even notice anymore. So whenever I get it pointed out to me, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point where I don't even notice it.
One of the staff asked me to give them a warning, so. So I just grabbed the thief there coming out of Enchanted. Do you do the same route?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we both do it at the same timing. It used to be you get it out of Sergeant Bird, but it was actually found to be a second or two faster to get it out of Enchanted.
Yeah, the setup out of Bird is very consistent and easy. The Enchanted one it's still not that hard, but it's
once you know where to land and where to charge from, it's pretty straightforward.
All right, now Icy Peak doesn't have any proxies, no swim in airs, nothing like that, but it has some very hard platforming. So there's a jump at the start here that I do not want to miss.
I'd say this is the level that is challenging at all levels of play.
Yeah. Nice, okay, good.
First try is very nice.
That jump saves so much time. Like, even beginners go for that usually, and it's like a big run killer when you start out. And then continues being a run killer even when you're really good.
All right, we both got a first try. That's always a little scary one. You could definitely be stuck there a few times.
Then some weird AI quirk with the thieves there. If you get the thieves in the wrong order, you get the red one first. The yellow one just kind of breaks, and you can stand where he's going to be and then just tap a camera button, and he respawns on top of you, and you can just flame him and kill him. I think we might be doing different routes here as well for the last two eggs.
Oh, you doing like the
cannon jump?
Yeah.
So I think what Fady's going to do is the slightly faster method, but again requires a quite difficult jump that I didn't want to go for in a race, so I'm going to go this way.
Yeah, luckily the jump I go for, I can just do cannon jump as a backup if I miss it.
Yeah. Oh, I meant the wall glide flop.
Oh, you're not even doing that. Okay,
No,
yeah.
the other. You get the eggs in the other
Gotcha,
order.
yeah.
It loses like 3 or 4 seconds, but it's a lot easier. Oh, unless you fail the cannon jump. Okay. Safe strat's not paying off for me.
Yeah, okay, I got a first try, which is always good. But it doesn't help if I can't get the spin jumps.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this is not... It's not normally how that goes, but we'll take it. Yeah, one of those embarrassing moments where you get the hard part easy and the easy part hard.
Exactly.
That's okay.
All right. Second boss. This is my favorite of the 4 bosses. It's really fun. There's luck in where the weapons drop, but yeah, you can make this quite a lot faster with skill as well.
Yeah, it's a good balance. Because the third boss fight that'll be coming up is pretty much purely luck.
Yes.
We're relying on a 50-50.
My tactic.
Yeah, there's 3 phases to this boss fight. Starts out with these lava rocks that we have to hit 3 times into him. Sorry, I almost said 80% knowledge. And then you hit him 3 times with the red ammunition that we get, and then 3 times with the blue ammunition that we get.
Nice. I didn't get quad rocks, but I got quad reds.
Yeah, I got quad rocks, so...
Nice.
Because basically, it's not a permanent... Sorry, not permanent, not an instant change between the different phases. So sometimes you can get 4 times instead of 3 times with either the rock, the red ammunition, or the blue ammunition.
And then because we're playing on the 1.0 version, the original American release, there's some luck in where Spyro spawns after the fight is over. I got a decent one. Yeah, we got the same spawn actually.
Yeah.
So, but you can spawn at different places on that egg, and if the whirligig is on screen, you can't like do any extra movement. You just have to slow walk all the way to it.
Yeah, it's not entirely random, but it's random in the sense that you're just ending the boss fight in a position that's easiest. So depending on your position, that's where you'll end up.
Yeah, there's a few little differences between this version and the Greatest Hits version. This version ends up being a little bit faster, but it's not major. And then the PAL version is a little slower again. It's still runnable, but yeah, not ideal.
So we're about to enter the most infamous run killer section of the run, known as Fireworks Factory.
I'm going to try this 3 times.
Yeah, my lives aren't great. I'm probably only going to try this twice. Because, yeah, you could just death abuse and try it again if you don't get this, because it is a big time save. Ooh, Dak gets the second try. Very nice. Okay. Because, yeah, you have to keep your lives at a pretty good level, so
Yeah,
I'll
there are
probably
some
only
more
try
death
this once
abuses you
more.
can do.
Oh, I got the bad RNG where the Firefly can actually fly in the opposite direction, which you can make work, but it's so precise that it's pretty hard.
Yeah, so that saves about 30 to 35 seconds if you get it, and then each fail, like each death takes about 10 seconds, so it's really bad when you're running for a good time.
Yeah, luckily at a race setting, it's not too stressful. There's so many elements to this run that not getting Firefly can always make back.
This is Agent 9. This is the monkey character. Oh, nice dodging. His movement is a little broken, as you might have been able to tell. If you hold one of the strafe buttons and mash the other one, you'll do this like strafe pump zigzag thing, and you can gain crazy speed. It's quite hard to control, and the walls in this area are sloped, so it's very easy to just go way up in the air when you don't want to. But yeah, so that was not the best zigzagging, but it'll do.
Hey, Spyro.
But yeah, Agent 9 is the only side character we don't actually play its respective level for. The other three we will, but just because Agent 9 you can't... sorry, you either pay with gems, or if you beat the Sorceress boss fight, you unlock. But since Sorceress is the end of this category for us, there's no reason to play his level.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't even be worth.
Yeah, no, his legs are very slow.
Nice little damage boost up onto this ledge.
Yeah, the damage boost is a pretty unique technique for this game, at least. There isn't really any other area that you do it in any of the categories.
Much easier on the PAL version, though, for
Yeah.
some reason.
Thanks for
Oh, I actually got hit by the bomb at the end there. So the rocket exploding could actually damage Agent 9 if you go in the wrong way.
Yeah, if you're on no health and that happens, you just die.
Yeah, and I was
Right.
close to it, so I won't be doing the death abuse because you do need at least one hit point to be able to attempt it. So.
I won't be going for it because, again, I'm sticking with safe strats for the race. It's, again, only like a 3-second time save. I would rather keep the lives. So yeah, this level ends up just being pretty normal. You just escort Crazy Ed through to the end. As we alluded to, there is a strat where you can do a boost off some enemies up into the boat early, get zapped to get a checkpoint, and then death abuse, and it makes Crazy Ed respawn at the end. It only ends up saving about 3 seconds and loses a life, but it's a strat you can do. Part of why it doesn't save more time is because we want to do a death abuse at the end of this level, but a very specific kind of death abuse.
Because yeah, the death abuse we'll be doing doesn't actually take a life away, but then we do a death abuse after, so it pretty much does.
I'm going to go for something called Zombie here. I'm going to try and pause and exit on the same frame that I take damage in the lava. In the acid, rather. Nice. If you go early there, you can pause buffer and get the right frame because the pause menu in this game is extremely fast. If you go late though, you just die and have to try again. But what that does is it means I can now swim in air. The way Zombie works is you're kind of partly dead and partly not, and one of the effects of that is that you can't change Spyro's state, like whether he's swimming or not swimming. And because exiting Lost Fleet dumps you out into the home world swimming, you are stuck swimming. Even when you leave the water, you just stay swimming. Zombie has some other effects that we don't want, and so as soon as I grab that egg, I death abuse to get rid of Zombie. But because I got that checkpoint while I was swimming, I'm still swimming even after I die. So let's just grab all these home world eggs much more quickly.
Yeah, okay, I just did the pause buffer there, so you basically get an extra chance to do it, because yeah, it is a one-frame trick.
And then once again, entering a level that's not unlocked yet with the portal underneath. This is Bentley. Definitely the least interesting movement out of the side characters. You just walk.
Yeah, you know the movement's bad when a spin jump at the end is the most excitement you can have in the level.
Yeah. There is some cool tech here with manipulating the cycles on the seals, though. You can change, like, their cycle kind of pauses when they're not on camera, and so you can look at them and then look away at the right times, and it means you don't have to end up waiting ages for the snowballs at the end here. So you kind of get there as they're throwing them.
I'm not actually sure if Dact explained this is the only egg we don't actually skip straight away.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah, if you skip that egg straight away, Spyro will get launched up into the floor, but we want to be underneath so we can access the ball.
Yeah, you want to stay out of bounds. It used to be thought that you had to wait through that entire egg cutscene. Turns out you can actually skip it like halfway through, but if you just mash like you would for every other egg, you will go back in bounds and lose quite a lot of time.
But yeah, if you think the last of Bentley will just be him being boring, he does affect the third boss fight quite a lot. Very infamously. Because before saying anything more, we're pretty much relying on him for a 50-50 in that boss fight.
Yeah. It's a nice little break, though, after Firefly and everything. Good time for donations in other marathons. Alright, so going into Frozen Altars here, this has a proxy at the beginning that's quite important to hit. It's not that hard, like it's one of the easier... Oh, nice cutscene. It's one of the easier proxies to hit, but if you do miss it, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, funnily enough, both our PBs did not get it.
Yeah, yeah, we both missed it, our PBs, which is really unfortunate. Biggest mistake in, at least in my run, I guess, probably.
Yeah, definitely mine, yeah.
I got half of it. I'm going for the backup mammoth, which is not great.
The backup's pretty hard.
Yeah.
You need a much higher height than you would for the first one.
Good to play Tekken for a bit.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, I completely forgot Bentley's also infamously, Bentley boxing. Every child's worst nightmare playing this game. But luckily we could abuse it pretty easily.
Yeah, there are some stun locks you can do on the Yeti by jabbing with the right rhythm. So yeah, 42 is not bad. That's pretty good. The best I've ever got is a 47. But like if you get kind of bad RNG or aren't very good at the stun locks, you can end up with like 30s and 20s pretty easily.
Yeah, I call it the Muhammad Ali RNG.
Alright, maybe I can get this back up. Maybe.
Welcome to...
No. Alright, we are going around. That sucks.
Oh, how do we both get the same? Okay. We'll see how this goes.
So yeah, there were 2 eggs that we would have got before boxing if we'd got the proxy properly, but instead we are not doing that. Okay. Oh, my analog isn't turned on.
I think my rhythm was like very off there, but 32 is not the end of the world in Bentley boxing.
I went for a couple of ice proxies there. You can like flame and jump into an enemy as it freezes, and you get proxied up. I didn't get either of them, unfortunately, but they can save a bit of time.
Oh, okay. I got the second backup mammoth. So now I'll be doing a death abuse instead of going the long way around.
Yeah, that saves quite a bit over the backup I had to do.
Yeah, luckily the death abuse is very easy in this level. The amount of area you can do it is quite absurd.
Thanks for helping.
Alright, this is a pretty hard level, honestly, Chandridge.
Yeah.
There's a couple proxies, there's some annoying spin jumps later as well. But I'm going to try and proxy off one of these cat wizards to get to the first egg a bit more quickly. Nice.
Ooh, very nice.
That's a pretty small shortcut because you can actually just like jump through a wall to get to this as well. It's
one of the funnier trick discoveries.
Yeah.
It wasn't known about immediately.
There used to be a really hard strat to get to that egg, and then someone's just like, I wonder if you can jump through a wall here. And you could, because there was part of the wall that's just not solid.
Yeah, shout outs to Tuval.
Yeah.
One of the great trick discoverers in this game. Actually, the reason one of these categories even exists.
Yeah.
Spyro.
But yeah, if I miss the cat proxy, you'll be able to see how absurdly easy one of the tricks I do after is. Yeah, okay, I have. You literally just jump through this wall, and that's it.
And that also skips a moneybags payment,
Yeah.
because you normally have to pay him to like make some stairs climbable, I guess. Oh no, really?
But yeah, another unique tech in this minigame where you sort of boost. It's like, if anyone has seen Spyro 2, there's a trick called a double jump. It's basically the inverse of that, where we're kind of just doing the inputs in the opposite order.
I never thought of it that way, actually. Yeah,
that was the
that's
only way I
true.
could describe myself to it to learn it.
According to I just
But yeah,
bought
lets
some
you skip a lot of this
Instasprout Ultra
minigame.
Super
It's
Grow
this
seeds
whole
from a
puzzle
bear
with the
a bad
mushrooms. You
agenda.
plant them in different
He said
places,
they
and then there's
magic.
flower
I can't
platforms
make
as
you
well.
do
But you can
anything.
get
You can have a couple.
unintendedly high jumps off the mushrooms, so you can skip a lot of it. And then hopefully another little mini proxy to skip a cutscene here. Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
You've been doing great.
And with that, we're done with all of the levels in the third homeworld, and head on to the RNG hell of this run.
Yeah, you notice Dax, like, you know, probably 40 seconds ahead of me right now.
That may
That
not
could be,
last.
yeah, that could be easily brought back if RNG is on my side and not Dax's side.
So there are two different weapons that Bentley can give you for this fight. There's a red rocket and a green rocket. The green rocket has 1 ammo and like hones in. The red rocket has 50 ammo. They do the same amount of damage per hit. So yeah, you definitely want the reds.
Yeah.
And then the attacks that Scorch does also can take different amounts of
Oh,
time.
yeah, he got first try reds.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much you only need 1 red drop to win this boss fight, whereas the green drops you need, what is it, 8 or 9 hit points? So you technically need like 8 or 9 green rockets to defeat the boss fight. It's absurdly stupid. And Dax even got a 2nd red drop, which
Yeah,
makes it...
very lucky here.
That's it.
And pretty good attacks as well. I got 3 of the fast attack.
It would be
So-
cruel if Bentley decides just to make my run a little bit worse here, but we'll see. Because pretty much as soon as we get the first red ammo drop, that's the boss fight, really. Like, there's some RNG with the enemy's attacks, but it is nothing compared to getting the first drop. And I got first greens. So pretty much now it's just a waiting game. Like, I could hit Scorch with this, but you'll see the amount of damage it does is brutal. That's it. And I get a second one,
Oh,
so...
God, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm infamous for my hatred for Bentley in this section. So this is the way it should go. Yep, he gives me a 3rd one as well. So the only advantage is it homes in, and it only hones in sometimes.
Yeah, the homing isn't even that good.
Yeah. And he gives me 4th try greens, so we still are waiting for the drop.
Oh, man.
He gives me 5th try greens. Yeah, that's all this fight is if you don't get red ammo straight away.
It's really it's a 50-50 every
Yeah.
time. So hitting the wrong 50%.
It's more
5
impressive
times
to
in
get
a row
greens
is
this many times. So I've
not
got 6
likely.
try reds.
Yeah, if anyone wants to do the math on
Yeah.
that.
It's like a 6% chance maybe. I don't know. 3%? Something like that.
Oh, another swimming error on my side. Just get squished between that like gem and the edge of the like the land, and as you swim, and it pushes you out of the water, so you don't get stuck in the water, and then you can swim around.
Yeah, it's kind of a unique. It's like a mix between a squeeze proxy and a swimming error. But yeah, Dak would need some catastrophic errors from this point.
It's not over, honestly. I could easily die to tanks.
Yeah.
I could have a terrible sorceress, but that is pretty unfortunate.
Because the difference between my and Dak's RNG was about a minute. Because every red ammo drop you have to wait for is about another 10 seconds. So multiply that by 6, there we go.
Oh, nice. All right, that's a cool little proxy to skip the...
Oh, we got turtle, yeah.
Yeah, you skip the trigger that activates the slide, and so you can just glide all the way to the end. Like, there's a little bit of the slide like that you can reach with that proxy that doesn't actually activate the sliding, and so you can just charge off it.
Yeah, because it's not a 90s platform without a random slide section.
Yeah, 12.7.
Would you like to see?
Before he gets the gem swim, nice.
Dak's doing a new,
I
recently
completely
found...
forgot about that until,
Yeah.
until I was coming out. I'm like, oh crap, I need to set
Yeah,
up for
that trick was...
that setup I just did to kill that thief was posted 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's a lot better than the old strat, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll be doing the old strat because I've been lazy and haven't learned it yet, so... But it's a second, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Shout out to Jeremy again.
Yeah, you hear Jeremy's name a lot when it comes to this category.
Here, you can.
This is Tara. She's totally legally distinct from any other characters that you may have seen.
Yeah, so I got the turtle proxy, but not enough height, so
Okay.
I will have to go down the slide. But we can skip a significant portion of the slide through this strat here, where you just sort of go halfway down.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're supposed to. That's not supposed to happen. Oh, well, I'll go for... Well, actually, I can't go for turtle proxy again.
Yeah, because once you activate the slide once, it's just the trigger gets a lot bigger and you can't skip it anymore. This minigame I'm doing right now with the shark subs is what we rooted in, or what was rooted in a few years ago to replace that Sandcastles minigame we mentioned way earlier. It's only fast if you do it well, but
Yeah.
I did it decently well there, so they're on a consistent cycle from when you enter the area, so. And then big proxy here, hopefully. Nice.
Yeah, that was
Escape this.
another relatively recent discovery about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a slightly different way of getting the thief there. The traditional way, I should say.
That thief is very annoying if he gets away from you, though. Like, whichever strat you do, if you lose track of him and don't get the quick kill, it's really hard to catch him. Not much to say about this Sheila area. It's just a 2D side-scroller section. You want to stay on the ground as much as possible because walking is faster than jumping, like horizontally. See if Adi can pull off the shark subs.
Yeah, shark sub is basically just get that first one, because it's all cycle-based. Oh, well, it would normally be.
It's really annoying because the ammo doesn't come out of the center of the manta. It comes out of where the rockets are on the side, and it alternates between them. So your shots are not always coming from the same place.
Yeah, and I took it a bit safe on that last one because, yeah, if you get hit, it starts the whole thing again.
Cheeky little death abuse on that egg. It's like a second faster than taking the whirlwind back. And then this level I'm going into is probably my least favorite in the run. I do not like this level at all. There's a annoying skip at the start, and then the tanks minigame is horrendous, in my opinion.
I'm actually a fan of the tanks minigame, but I completely understand
It's
hatred.
mad 'cause bad, that's what it
Yeah.
is. But oh, okay, I got the skip though. That's good.
Yeah, luckily if you don't get that skip at the start, you can just do it a little bit slower way and it's all good.
Got to be careful in this level because you can't just mash the dialogue. You have to answer these riddles, and the default answer, the top answer, is never the correct one. So you have to actually not go too quick with the text. Another slide skip. And maybe a little proxy up this. Not quite. Oh, I can't get up the stairs. This guy's gonna. Okay. Alright, so there's 2 tanks minigames. The first one you have to kill 4 tanks, the second one is 10. I don't know, I just find this really hard to do fast.
Yeah, the second tanks minigame is often the one a lot of beginners to this category will sub out, just because it is quite annoying to get fast and accurate with. Very easy to die in the second tanks.
Yeah. You can, one thing that helps is that as you come close to a tank or like within its aggro range, it'll always move like left or right behind, like out from behind the pot. What the heck? I just took damage.
Yeah.
I have no idea what just hit
See,
me.
that's the average tank 2 experience.
You can't hit yourself in this game. That's not a thing.
No.
I will have to check the VOD for that later. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna play this a bit safe now because I don't have much health.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't get the skip there. You just flop on the top there, but I can wait for the few seconds it takes. Because yeah, the whole way round in this level is ridiculously slow. So, very glad that door skip can exist.
Yeah, other than that weird damage at the start, that tank steal wasn't too bad. Gonna grab some health here because I want to be on full health by the time I enter the final boss, and there's no real health to grab in the last level, so
Yeah.
you just need to grab them on the outside. But yeah, this is going to be the last level. I have 96 eggs, which is the correct amount. I haven't missed any. That's always a relief. Yeah, last level and then the final boss to do. There's a neat little kind of scenery trick. There's some scenery platforming here that's unintended that lets you get to the end of the level much more quickly. Do the level backwards. Do a jump from this window. And then a little squeeze from this wheel onto the roof. And then flop over. You have to break this wall in order for this guy to give you the egg. If you just jump straight into this room, you get stuck. Like, you can't even get out.
Jumping. One of them done.
Have to concentrate a little for this water tunnel. It's probably easier than the one in Seashell Shore, but it's so late in the run and such a big time loss if you hit something by mistake. Definitely seen people lose good paces for this water tunnel.
Because it's an easy one, it just, the nerves will get you.
Yeah.
That was some.
And then just grab one more egg in the home world. Home world? In the main part of the level, rather.
Yeah, the part of the run that I'm up to now, I always check my egg count because
Yeah, you want to see 96
yeah.
there.
If you don't see 96, you start panicking.
Yeah. So I have 100 eggs now. That's not the end of the run. I still need to actually beat the game, fight the final boss. Sometimes I kind of wish you could just end on 100 eggs because this boss is a little annoying.
Yeah, the reason it's called 100 egg and it doesn't end on 100 egg is this is the legacy any % category, basically.
Unlocking that door I just unlocked is the point. That's what you need 100 eggs for.
So back before 2013, this category was known as any %.
Yeah. So I'm not going to try and explain how this fight works while I do it because it's hard and complicated. Basically, there's been a lot of research done, mainly by Jeremy, who I mentioned earlier, into how the weapon drops for this fight work, and you can predict a lot of them and force specific interactions with the sorceress, but I mainly just want to concentrate on actually getting it.
I don't know why I went for the 1 second Dino Mine save there, but
Nice.
I didn't get it. So I lose a couple seconds, but that's okay.
I just forgot about it. I might
Yeah,
have gone for it
no,
if I
that's
remembered. So I got 3 hits with the first cannon, which is what you want. I think I'm getting a tank now, which I need to get 3 hits again and then kind of delay the last hit. That's not great. Should be good. Should get another tank, yes. And so I'm going to skip, hopefully, if I don't get hit off this tank or run out of ammo, I will completely skip the UFO phase, which is good because UFOs are slow. So this will be time coming up very soon for me. And time.
Yeah, GG's.
Thank you. That's a 53, not bad.
Yeah, 53 for a marathon is very good.
So for reference, my PB, both of our PBs are high 51s. So that's, I'm not upset about that. The records are low 50.
Yeah, and for people who didn't see it, we actually raced this category back at PAX last year, and it went much worse. We both got 57s, but it was a very hype finish.
We finished 11 frames apart, which is less than half a second.
Yeah, so unless you're bad at maths, we're not finishing 11 frames apart in this race.
Yeah,
weirdly enough, I don't know why.
We'll see how Fady Salt goes though.
Oh, got an extra life. I wish I knew.
Unnecessary
Yeah.
yeah.
That 1 second might cost me.
You did it, Spot.
So yeah, in the first phase, there will always be 3 cannons that appear, and you can tell based on the spread which one is going to drop first. So
And I know it's the one in front of me.
The one that's directly above him. And then each of the cannons that can drop causes the sorceress to run in different patterns, and so you can memorize the pattern for each cannon and be able to consistently get 2, preferably 3 hits on the first phase.
Yeah, guaranteed 3 hits here.
Yeah,
it's like weird happens.
Lock her in place.
Sometimes you can have too much on the screen and the attacks just won't register.
Yeah. So you can get a second cannon or you can get a tank here. It looks like
I'm gonna get a tank.
Yeah. So he's getting the same RNG as me, basically.
Yeah, preferably you'd want that second cannon, but it's not a big deal, especially in a race setting. Just as long as you know what you're getting.
So he's going to get 2 regular hits and then do a force for the 3rd hit where you kind of hit her from halfway across the arena.
I'm going to be a bit safer.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird setup. There you go. So when you jump off the tank, it forces Sorceress to stay still for a bit, so you can make sure that she gets hit by the attack, and then just stun lock her until she's dead.
All right, time coming up. And time.
Nice. Well done.
GG's.
GG's.
Good stuff. Sorry, I think both our hands are sweaty. So.
Yeah, that was not a good hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed that. It's, I think it's a good run for a race. If you're interested in the run or interested in trying it, speak to one of us. We've got the Spyro Speedrunning Discord. Is very has a lot of information, a lot of helpful people in there. So
yeah, we're always keen for new runners. So feel free to just message either of us.
Yeah, and thanks to ACMI for hosting us.
Yeah, much appreciated.
for that excellent run. Up next, we have Super Sammy Roll Any Percent by SNC. Make sure to stick around for that. Thank you. Oh, alrighty. To start us off this super block of games, we've got Super Sammy Roll Any Percent by SNC. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully coming through okay, but yeah, I guess going from the classic to the unknown, as it was brought to you earlier. Little known 3D platformer called Super Sammy Roll today. I'm really proud to be showing this one off. My name is Dylan. I go by SNC. I'm joined today by co-commentator Osu.
Yeah, I'm Ben, but also known as Osu. I have a bit of a strange history with the game. I actually came in through another game called Rivals of Aether, and this gentleman next to me over here was playing this on stream one day, and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. Slowly got into it, and I guess the rest is history.
I've slowly been converting the scene in the time since, but we'll get ourselves started today. So Super Sammy Roll has 3 difficulty options as we start. The any percent speed run uses relax mode, so we're going to have checkpoints in every level and no time limits. Those no time limits are going to be important in some of the levels that we play through, but time should be starting in 3, 2, 1.
Let's hit it.
Get going.
Good luck.
All right, we're going to be skipping the cutscenes at the start here, but brief little context, classic 3D platformer tropes. Bad guys stolen the hero's girlfriend on a journey to save them.
Good old trope.
Nothing too fancy here. But to give you a little bit of context, what we're going to be seeing here today is a course clear 3D platformer, very much inspired by the likes of Marvel platformer games, something like Super Monkey Ball, which you're going to be seeing a little bit later today. And more wrapped up in like the 3D Mario aesthetics, let's say. You know, even like the 2D Mario like world screen here. You've got the classic like grass, sand, ice, and lava worlds throughout.
And those worlds will be switched up as we go between different worlds. Currently we're in World 1, and each world gets progressively a little bit more difficult over time, and the themes kind of change.
Yep.
But there's a healthy mix of different kinds of levels, as you'll see as we keep going.
Going to be short and sweet for the most part in Worlds 1 and 2. This level here, one of the longer ones to start off with, but hopefully a fun one. There are plenty of tricks to sort of talk about as you go through. So one right here, I'm holding jump off this ramp, which sort of slows my fall time in the air, lets me do a couple of skips in this level in particular.
And that slowing of gravity, I suppose, is going to be super useful.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Unfortunate going over
I've
the side
saved it.
there.
We're okay.
Nice recovery.
But holding jump there lets me skip that whole section on the side there as well. But just need to get myself a little comfortable. 38's not a great start on that one, but we should be okay. Not one that I'm normally scared of. There are a couple of tricks to be frightened of, and one that's coming up very soon into the run. But yeah, so Sammy sort of controls by rolling. There's no walking animation. It means there's a little bit of friction. You're fighting against the character's movements at some stage. You're building up a lot of momentum and then having to change it pretty quickly. The main thing that you're doing to change that is his tongue grapple. So you can grapple, jump, and do a ground pound. So what I'm trying to do here is a ground pound boost off the side of this here. It's pretty tight. This setup lets me do it a little really close.
Damn.
You get 3 attempts at this before you start losing time to the other strategies. So this is the early run killer. One that I always seem to struggle with at live events. So we'll try to go a few more times here. Hopefully it shouldn't be much longer.
Luckily, there's only a couple of levels that require this level of precision with a simple little trick.
Yes.
But this one being so early into the run can be a little bit demotivating.
It is a bit of a killer, so at this point you'd be hitting the reset button and going again, but I think we finally got
it.
there.
There we go. Nice work.
Does save in the region of like 16 to 20 seconds, I think, compared to the faster strategies. So most of the time you're looking for first or second try 1-6 before you keep going with the run if you're really serious about the run. Only a couple of strategies like that today, but I am pulling out all of the stops today. We're doing all of the difficult stuff where we can.
And we'll
hopefully
be demonstrating that a
yeah.
little bit further on, especially in World 4, where there's been a lot of recent changes to the routing.
Yeah, that is very true. So I'm actually very fortunate. This is my 3rd time running this game through AusSpeedruns. Really enjoyed my time at live events. But in the time since, there's been a few strategy changes, mostly in the back half of the game. So going to be excited to show that off to anyone who may have seen me at some of these runs before. It's a good time for sure.
And we do have a bit of a side bet going on. If you can beat the game in under 44 minutes.
Yep. Some good old checkpoint abuse mixed with the gravity. So holding jump after resetting there gives me the gravity to float over that ramp there.
Yeah, another example of being able to get more time in the air to kind of float a bit more, which is kind of a unique mechanic, I would think, in these sorts of games.
Yeah, I suppose like we've seen some 3D platformer classics here today. This is a modern platformer, but very much classic sensibilities, let's say. I think the player skill and expression is a very important part of what makes this game so fun to speedrun. Your ability to sort of route a stage, being presented by all these little things in the world and being able to pinpoint it, it's what makes speedrunning so fun for, I'm sure, most of us here. I think Super Sammy Roll does it so well. Can be a tricky stage, this one. You get a very thin rail here to time your
he
jump.
nails it. Nice work.
Thankful to get that one. It's one that I...
It's a bit dubious at times.
Had some mixed luck on that one recently, but should be okay.
Very quickly encroaching on the final boss. Not the final boss, sorry. This world boss.
Gonna be a very, very quick run today.
Right after this level is complete, we will be getting in a confrontation with our villain, Albert the Seventh.
Oh, we're gonna fill him in the lore.
Here we go.
Yeah, Super Sammy Roll, a world full of animals. So Prince Albert. I call him Prince. I don't think he is a prince. I always make that mistake. I'm not sure why. It might be that Prince Albert in a can thing. I think that's...
Well, maybe, you know, it's headcanon that he's
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
Bouncing against the wall over here to save just so much time.
Introduced to him right now, our little monkey friend, Albert the Seventh, who is a collector of exotic animals. So he's actually going around and collecting all of Sammy's friends in the canon of this game, I suppose. Good RNG on this first one. The wait time in between missiles is variable. Unfortunately, I'm getting bad RNG right now, so out of luck a little bit. You want to trace that missile and get him to hit, to send out multiple missiles at once. The missiles only last for 10 seconds, so I was kind of forced to hit him at a certain point there. Otherwise, I would have to wait for a complete, an extra missile cycle, which is not what you want. So we're just going to trace this around the outside and hope that his routing is kind. This is good. This is perfect.
Oh, that's good.
So you want to hit him and don't land on his head to start with. During his hit stun animation, you can hit him again with the next missile. Saves a bit of time there. So first missile, not quite good RNG, but the rest of that was clean. Liked that.
And here we are going on to the Parched Sandlands, a very deserty themed world.
You can tell Osu's been studying.
It's a little bit more thematic than just saying World 2.
Yeah, okay.
Has a bit more flair.
So starting off easily enough, lining up that grapple can sometimes be a little bit tricky. So the ground pounds do get impacted by the launch angle, and you want to be as close to the ground as possible for these. This is one of the more difficult strats in any percent right now. Hoping to absolutely nail this one for you today. Perfect.
Wow, that is a lot more difficult than he made it look. So to get it first try, that's some good omens right there.
Yeah, not one you get first try very often. Normally that strat is saved for individual level records. It's not one that we used to do for the any percent, but the category's been pushed a little bit since the last time I did a run at AusSpeedruns. So world record's been dropped by probably another minute in that time. When I first started running this game. World record was 42 minutes and I want to say 25 seconds, maybe 35. World record held by me today is 38 minutes 25. So we've knocked down 4 minutes off the world record in the last couple of years of running the game. Plenty of new strats have been found, some new glitches to abuse, which is not something this category is well known for. Not many glitches you're making use of.
It's just a lot of expression of skill, I suppose.
Yeah. It's what I enjoy about it. Super Sammy Roll is a very pure speedrunning experience. If you like course clear games where you just are focusing on getting the best possible time on your route, then this is the game for you.
There's not a whole lot of like glitching into walls or going out of bounds. Or
Yeah, there's only one example in any of the individual level records. We're not going to see it today, where you go out of bounds to actually get the record time.
And this level right here is quite infamous in our little scene for having a very particular jump through a certain object, which will be coming up shortly.
It's a community favorite, this level. I'm not sure why it is, but everyone really seems to love this jump in particular. Abusing. Oh, no! Catching a death there. I'm going to try to make it up to you all, but it's tough to do it from the checkpoint. Oh, no. This is going to be a no cactus jump run. I'm really sorry.
That's unfortunate, but luckily there is this little backup route we have for when the cactus jump doesn't work out quite right.
It's tricky to do from a checkpoint, and I could just keep resetting there and trying to do it, but I want to keep the run going. Damn, disappointed not to get that one for you, though.
Well, there'll be other cool tech coming up in a little bit that you'll be able to show off for the crowd.
Just a tricky example of like coyote time, if people are familiar with that mechanic, where if you go off a ledge, you have a little bit of time in the air where you can still input your jump. You know, it just makes it a little bit easier, I suppose. So we're abusing that and the fact that the sand is sloped to get to that cactus. It's all classic speedrunning stuff, I suppose, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing too fancy at this stage. This level is one that we've worked on a little bit. We've brought in a little bit more of the IL strats, but a little bit safer. So one thing that I've done there at the start is when you're doing ground pounds, if you do consecutive ground pounds, you get a little bit more height on the second one. So doing 2 ground pounds there gives me enough height to make that boost consistent, where I'm doing these ground pounds just to speed up my routing a little bit. I'm going a little bit slower here because I don't think I would be able to beat the cycle on these.
And this level is a bit of a reason why we choose relaxed to avoid the time limit, because otherwise we would only have 10 seconds. Coins do add a second, but that level is very, very tricky to complete with added time pressure.
Yeah, the difference between relaxed and normal mode is not really felt in the majority of the run. So normal mode, you still get all the checkpoints, but you do have the timer. But all of these like pinball-themed levels, let's call them, they have the shortened timers. So you start with 10 seconds on the clock, and you need to route for coins, or pips, or tokens, whatever you want to call these. I don't know what the official term is. But each of those will give you an extra second before you get reset back to your checkpoint.
You'll also notice raspberries popping up from time to time in these levels, and those are more examples of collectibles to be found. There's also keys that unlock certain secrets, and you can also find the golden owl, which will also unlock new levels.
Yeah, we've got secret exits in some levels. They're good fun. Not seeing any of that today, so this is... Technically, if I do my routing perfectly, it's a low % run. We're not doing any extra collectibles. We are just playing the bare minimum levels to complete the game.
Just as fast as humanly possible.
Yep. It's not a bad start on that one. There are some tricks here where it's possible to miss them very easily, so... Ooh,
that's not the cactus jump we want.
Not the cactus jump we want at all. Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, that's an unfortunate jump right there.
There is no input buffer on these grapple jumps, so you do have to time the grapple connecting to the wall and then pressing the jump input. So if you're not completely comfortable. Sometimes you will mess up the timing a little bit. It's not not anything major there. I think we're doing well so far.
Here's a bit of a tricky level coming up, especially for newer players to the speedrun. Trying to grapple across this Sphinx, I believe.
Yes.
Connecting and getting the grapple jumps can be a little bit tricky because it's an object that doesn't really want to be grapple jumped on.
No, yeah, it's very much a case of, you know, messing up with the game in ways it's not really intended to. Ooh, going the wrong way. Sammy also has a pull-up animation, so if you are hitting the edge of platforms, he will want to grab it and pull himself up. We want to avoid that as much as possible. It's slower than just grappling up normally. But that Sphinx statue is an example of Sammy really wants to climb it when he can't possibly climb it. And he just gets stuck sometimes. You lose all momentum and then you just fall and die a lot of the time.
And we are about to see our prince once again.
Not our prince. No, it's not. That's my mistake entirely.
Well, in any case, we will be seeing Albert once again at the top of this tower and using...
Oh, I'm getting squeezed.
Oh dear, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Not a fun place to be.
Here we go, in a different vehicle this time.
Yeah, he's full of mechanical surprises. This boss fight here is the most consistent out of all of them. Normally the boss fights in this game have a bit of RNG that you need to contend with, whereas this one, it can be fully manipulated. I think he's in a good spot here. So long as he's facing directly on the side of the platform there, these mines will go into this nice little square shape, and it means we can just route him. Classic platformer rules, 3 hits and we're done, so we don't need him to spawn any more mines with this layout, which is something that can be a bit of an issue. If he's in the wrong position, oh, we'll get hit.
Nice.
But that boss fight is entirely consistent. You're normally walking away with only 1 or 2 seconds variance. Unlike all of our other boss fights, which are in the range of 40 seconds variance with RNG.
And here we go into World 3. This world is a bit notorious for being a huge difficulty spike.
It's a stopping point for some people. They get to World 3, ice physics with how much you're already fighting the momentum gameplay of this game. Like some people just...
nice pull-up.
Cannot stand it, but I don't know, it leads to some cool things. That nice little boost at the start there with the wind mechanics to make that jump. It's a cool skip. I do really enjoy World 3 once you get the hang of things.
We do start seeing longer levels in general over here.
Yes, yeah.
And as a newer speedrunner to this game myself, it's a little bit deceptive because by the time you come up to the end of World 3, I mean, you feel like you're about 3/4 of the way through the game. But really, World 3 and 4 have some of the longer levels in the game.
I'm just going to retry. I've never done that before. But we have a ground pound boost that we're setting up here, where we get a second ground pound right there with the speed that we gained to make a massive skip. The setup for that used to be a lot more difficult, but those ground pounds on the little ice hut, what are those things called?
The igloos?
Igloos, that's the word. Thank you. This is what you're here for.
Yes, that's my job.
Holding jump here to skip over the balloons again, messing up with your momentum in the air.
We will be seeing a lot of that holding jump to kind of reduce your gravity on these balloons. With the balloons, you can get a lot of height from just holding down the jump button, a bit like that.
So the ground pound, you can't manipulate the momentum from that, but every time you bounce on a balloon normally, just hold jump here, and that gives me enough air time to be able to just skip straight to the air there. Feeling good. This is a good start so far, I think.
Yeah,
I still say a good start when we're almost halfway through the run. It feels that way. The way this run is paced is really deceptive as a runner. There is just such a big ramp up from Worlds 1 and 2. Worlds 3 and 4, you have the longer levels and also some of the most difficult stuff that you can do as well.
Ooh, narrowly dodging that cannonball right there.
Should be fine. One of the rare examples where we're just kind of waiting around for things. This level's broken up into thirds. So every time you go in a pipe...
Ooh, barely missing.
Yeah.
little enemy over there.
I've just swapped my angle too soon. I'm trying to change angles very quickly with these jumps sometimes, and that's often when I'm doing camera movements as well, so you actually need to practice the camera movements as well as your movement.
Coming up here is going to be another example of our double ground pound to get a little bit more height to reach up there and skip a bunch of the paths connecting upwards.
Not possible 1 ground pound. Second ground pound gives us just enough height to make it. So long as we're timing our ground pound close to the ground as well. So the closer to the ground you are, the more height you're getting. Little awkward with the retry, but that was fine in the end.
Yeah, you got it. This one is quite tricky, easy to mess up. If you hit the spikes, it can absolutely be a restart from the very beginning, by putting yourself in a bad space.
The spikes here are to tell you not to do this, but I think we can all relate. If we see spikes on a wall, we want to jump around them and
of course
ignore them as best as we can. I do think it's a great little game to experiment with these little things.
And over here, we might see another piece of tech.
Maybe not. We'll see. Oh, actually get death, which is quite rare. But this level, the main strat, is the one you're seeing right now. Really. Oh no!
Oh no! Oh dear!
I've ground pounded at the wrong time, and I've actually locked myself out of grappling as well. So I forced a death in that situation.
Okay, well, 4th time lucky, right?
No, not even 4th time. I might have to go straight for backup at this rate. This is crazy. Oh, I don't know if this works or not. No, it doesn't.
Bugger. All right, come on, you got this.
I need a pep talk for this one. It's crazy. No, okay, I'm alive at the very least. So here's our backup strat, which you normally would be able to do without a death. If you ground pound and time a grapple, you can offset the height of Sammy's tongue. So it ends up being above his body, and it means you're getting even more height than what a double ground pound would be possible for. It's the only way to make that exact grapple possible. And it's a strategy that we didn't really know we could use until fairly late in development of the 80% run.
Nice, there we go.
Because this level used to be notorious for you can't get the main strat, you just have to keep resetting until you get it. Normally, no deaths on that stage, you miss the main strat, you go for the backup, but I think I've walked away with 5 or 6 deaths there.
Oh dear.
Brings me back, feels like the old days.
Well, at least this is a bit of a stage where you can chill out, relax a little bit.
This is what we call the water break level. This is our auto-scroller. We do have one fancy little thing here we can do to skip the very first half. One of the reasons why we want to play the level in relaxed or normal mode, I suppose. I'm very late to the hours here. Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
I'm copping a death.
That's very unfortunate, having to go all the way back to the start of this auto-scroller.
Just my pace was a little bit slow at some point there. I'm not sure where it was. Unfortunately, with the death there, I'm not saving any time in this auto-scroller skip anymore. It is about 30 seconds that you're saving with that, and I've just missed it at the final checkpoint there. Oh, I'm getting hit again! It's alright. We will get through. But unfortunately, the back half of the level, it's the only example of an auto-scroller in the 80% run where just sort of stuck waiting a little bit. But let's try to fix this one up. A little bit shallower on the jumps, trying to save a little bit of time on these. This feels a little bit better in terms of pace.
Yep. It's looking better. Let's see it.
So, diagonal grapple on the final layer there brings us to the
made
checkpoint.
It. Nice work.
It is a bit deceptive watching this game. I do think that it is much more difficult playing it than you realize watching someone else play it. There is a huge sense of friction in the character. And those grapple jumps, it's very difficult to position yourself with the auto cam. It's the only level that's like this, I suppose, where you've got this fixed perspective. It definitely changes how Sammy feels to control.
Luckily, the rest of this level over here is nice and easy. Like S&C said, a nice time to take a quick hydration break.
Yeah, as promised, the water break level. If we were doing individual level, we would be grappling across these birds. These are a set pattern here, and you can do some grapple jumps to speed yourself up by maybe 3 seconds at most. It's not a substantial amount of time, really. But not going to be going for that today, not after already copping some deaths. This is good. Oh, I don't think we've... Yeah, not quite a cycle skip. So we are down a cycle compared to the best possible strat on this stage, but this is pretty good.
That's still totally fine.
Yep. That ground pound boost at the start, it's a little bit tricky with the spacing, but yeah, this is a cycle-based level where you're kind of at the whim of the wind. These come in at fixed timings. Very easy to cop a death if you're in the wrong spot. Oh, that landing was a bit awkward. I might actually die here, but...
No, you're still alive. Well done.
Yeah, it should be fine. So we got one more of these, and we're going to make the run straight to the owl.
Nice. If you're a little bit sloppy on that jump over there, it is possible to get hit by the wind and get sent flying just before you hit the owl.
Also speaking from experience, yeah.
Damn, no need to call me out like that.
I should say, Osu only recently dabbled in the any%, so recorded his very first any% run in full quite recently. But, you know, been a good friend from the Rivals community for quite some time, has been watching the run for...
I just kind of absorbed the run from watching hours and hours of your streams. Just raw immersion, basically.
Yeah, that's your years of experience and week of gameplay coming out.
Here's one of the first examples of a particularly tricky level. This is also quite long compared to some of the other levels. And so S&C over here is going to have to lock in.
Yeah, this is traditionally the focus stage when we're going to run. It's good vibes up until this point, and then you're really locked in. The run definitely ramps up in difficulty exactly at this level. So the next 3 are quite tricky ones.
Trying to contend with all these ice, with all this ice physics, and the different enemies along the way, alongside some very precise jumping. As you can see, Sammy's movement speed being slowed down by these platforms moving against Sammy's direction makes it very, very tricky.
Momentum is just a little bit tricky to contend with just in that section there, but I think we're okay. We've got to do a jump here to skip the rest of those platforms.
There we go.
That's a very clean example of 3-12. Nothing too tricky quite there. But as I say, the difficulty is ramped up at this point. The levels are getting longer. Need to hit more of these tricks and make sure our route is spot on all of these. So we'll do a ground pound to skip over this section and straight into these enemies again, using another boost from the little wind tornadoes that they
And if you thought these icy sections were difficult, here we go into our first example, like a very thin ice platform that you have to try and slowly navigate around.
Yeah, I just sort of nudge the camera while I'm holding a single direction. I don't really change the direction on the stick. Controlling it with the camera is actually easier than controlling your movements, I suppose.
There's some precise jumps over these obstacles over here.
Yeah,
it's going to be trying to hit this first one, this second one, and make it over to the checkpoint.
Really well.
Nice.
I hit a very good cycle there.
And more of this tricky, thin slice of
I don't think
ice.
I beat him.
Ooh, unfortunate.
Playing it safe on that one. These icicles falling from the ceiling can really rub it in if you have to slow yourself down. So you need to know when to call it. It's very tempting to go for glory on a run like this, but
managing to avoid all of those snowballs, well done.
Sometimes safety is best. Oh, we're going the wrong way again.
The wrong way again. And a bit of a change up from all the ice frosty levels. Now we're in a haunted forest being chased by ghosts.
Yep. My long-time theory, which I don't know if I've ever tried to confirm this or not, was that this level was intended for World 1, but it ended up being too difficult, and they repositioned it for World 3.
And that's part of the reason why we
Ooh, no.
use that checkpoint right there to get rid of the ghost so that we don't have that presence behind us. If the ghost does catch up with Sammy, she will knock Sammy up and just stun him for a bit.
Yeah, very much like a Shadow Mario kind of mechanic, or I think a good example would be Celeste. If you were watching yesterday's run, it's a mechanic that's in Celeste as well.
Here's another example of the ground pounds to get a little bit more vertical height. Unfortunately, didn't quite reach the red mushroom.
Yeah, a little bit awkward, but we'll do some grapple jumps and save that.
Nice recovery, though.
Yeah, no input buffer on those grapple jumps, so if you're a little bit too quick on your inputs, you are locking yourself out of grappling, jumping out of it.
And if you were missing Albert the 7th, he's coming back again once more for another epic duel. Right as soon as we climb up this tower.
Yeah, unfortunately, full RNG this fight. I could put down the controller at this point. I don't have any control over how this fight goes. Like I said earlier, it's sometimes up to a 40-second variance on this split. I think it is possible that he does no other attack than the attack that you can hit him on. When he does the missiles, you're just waiting. 2 missiles in the same cycle is really unlucky.
Ah, dear.
But there are only 3 hits possible, and it's yeah, there isn't really a queue in place for this one, to my knowledge. Like, if he does missiles, it's still possible for him to do missiles again. I think it's just that he can't do the same attack consecutively. I think that's the only rule in place. I could be wrong about that, though.
Got 2 hits down. We just need this final hit.
Yep.
We need Albert the 7th to hurry up and just get back down to the ground.
Yep.
To finish things.
It is faster to get hit by that attack, where he has the little trail underneath him. Interrupts the rest of the attack animation. But yeah, we got through. Rule of thirds coming in again.
And onwards to the Molten Sea. World 4, the challenge once again rises a little bit with all of these very hot.
I don't think I have the momentum here, but I'm going for it.
Ah, dear.
It's deceptive, this one. Seems like a really easy jump, but it ends up being a run killer for me sometimes, and I just...
Manages to get it on the second try. Well done.
The current world record is almost a near flawless run in a lot of ways, but it has a 40-second time loss on this level. Of all levels, it's about 40 seconds. Where I could not make that jump for the life of me. It's alright, one day we'll clean it up. But it's alright. We yeah, again, different vibe here. There's a couple of shorter levels at the start of World 4 here, but still a pretty steady jump up from Worlds 1 and 2.
And I believe the very next level, we're going to be introduced to some new tech that's been discovered.
Yeah, different strategy for anyone who's seen the run before. This is the first time where we've actually been able to figure out how to use damage boosting in Super Sammy Roll. These sets of 4 spikes have a single hitbox per 4, and you can get hit by either 3 or 4 of the spikes at once to damage boost Sammy up and skip about 40 seconds of the level. So this was one of my favorite levels in the run at one point, and now you are skipping almost the entirety of it. It's, yeah, very funny.
The curse of the speedrunning games.
Yeah, I know. It's such a pretty level as well, and you just don't see it. That's okay. It makes for a very smooth any % experience now. I think we are far enough into the run that I want to tell you a little bit about my experience with the game at this point. So this is a solo dev project. It's by Sonzai Games, who are based in Osaka, Japan, with a little bit of assistance with their publisher and I believe a Brisbane-based musician. Very least Australian. I'm not sure if it's Brisbane specifically.
I think it might be New South Wales.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
In any case, very much Australian.
but very much a project of passion, I suppose. This was the 3D platformer that they really wanted to make. And at release, it was very much underplayed. It went under the radar, and it only really got a bit of a revival in the 3D platformer scene thanks to a review by a YouTuber by the name of Nitro Rad. It's how I found out about the game. It's how many of the people in the scene found out about the game. In the very small speedrunning scene we have, in any case. Ooh, I might just restrike.
Yeah, nice.
I could try and save it, but I'm just going.
Sometimes you just got to know where to call it.
Exactly, yeah. Auto camera levels, so those walls are invisible, but very possible to grapple onto them. So yeah, the game received a second life after that video. I'm very thankful to have seen it myself. I'm someone who has always been an avid fan of speedrunning, but I'm losing a momentum a little bit here. It's going to be a little bit awkward. Yeah, that's fine. There we go.
Well done.
But Super Sammy Roll was the game that made me fall in love with speedrunning. It's changed the way I play games. I've now learnt the routes for many games which I really enjoyed as a child, just for fun, not even to compete. I've not even really streamed a lot of them, but for me, Super Sammy Roll was it. This is how I found my love of speedrunning. I know all of us have our own different stories of how we came to that. Many of us with games that we grew up with that I'd found a second life as adults, maybe, speedrunning them, I suppose. But for me, it was the little unknown 3D platformer called Super Sammy Roll. So I do have a lot of love in my heart for this game. It's been my great pleasure to showcase the run for you. Not just this event, but previous events held by AusSpeedruns. So I'm very, very thankful to be here today to show it off for you.
Yeah, so shout outs to AusSpeedruns for...
And, of course, ACMI, yeah.
For hosting this incredible event and for continuing to showcase this really underappreciated gem of a speedrunning title.
I do really love the selection of games that we've had this weekend. I wasn't able to catch everything live yesterday. I was checking out the VOD afterwards, but it's cool to me that Super Monkey Ball was a very big influence on the design of this game. I'm loving the fact that those two get to be paired together at ACMI today.
Now, here's another example of a tricky wall climb level with a central kind of pillar in the center. Although this is much less of a pillar and more of just like a little support beam.
That's actually a clean attempt at that. The hitbox detection on that one is a little bit janky because, again, the game doesn't want you to do some of these things.
The game really wants you to play the game.
Exactly. But we found a way. Didn't quite get a cycle skip on this one, but very rarely do with how inconsistent those wall jumps can be. That's all good. I feel like we're on a very good pace so far, to be honest.
Now, here's a very tricky technique that, if performed correctly, can save quite a bit of time. In fact, I believe this is the biggest skip in the entire game.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Got hit with RNG. I thought the setup was good, but don't even get an attempt at the jump. Could make this. No. Okay.
Right there. Unfortunately, just barely misses.
Yeah, this is one of the largest skips in the category. It skips a minute and a half of the level. And every runner has their own... I'm just going again. That was not good. Every runner has their own setup for this. Because it's game feel. Whatever feels best for you and whatever works for
well
you
done.
is how you make that skip happen. So that's the way that I have found. In Osu's short time, he's doing an older version of the skip, which was the previous world record holder. He pioneered that one. And second place in the leaderboard. Plays with mouse and keyboard, which has some differences in terms of inputs. So you can actually buffer ground pound inputs. Ooh, that's a little awkward. You can buffer ground foot inputs using mouse and keyboard controls. So on that level, there is an alternative method that second place in the leaderboard has found. He's the only person I've ever seen go for that method on the level. So it's really wild that so late into the run you have a level with such an important skip, but you know, 3 very different ways to do it. We are at the tail end of the run at this point.
This is where the difficulty really starts to spike up again. We have an important ground pound over there. Let's see if SSE's going to make it. He does!
Yeah, that's good.
First attempt as well. Well done. That saves quite a bit of time.
Now, only problem with doing that part of the skip is that you are changing your cycle a little bit here. It looks like I've done well here. You can sometimes catch a death with the lava wave catching up to you, but hopefully this should be a good example of this level. It's one of the more difficult ones, I think, as a first-time player, this level. You need to be really strict with yourself in terms of your routing. We always do a restart at this checkpoint in particular to reset the wave, because being on a different cycle for this very end section can be quite brutal.
And now he's going to be racing against these snakes, trying to get these 3 important jumps to get right to the end and get out of this lava zone.
That is a flawless example of how to play that level in any percent. Very pleased to have got that one through. Now, I am tempted to go for a damage boost that was recently discovered on this level, but it is far more difficult to pull off than the previous damage boost. So we're going to play this level the intended way in the any percent route. But yeah, the damage boost that we've discovered on this one saves 20 seconds compared to the route that I'm going for here. But 4-14 is our last platforming challenge, we'll say. The level after this is a much easier route. This here, with the thin rails, all of the spikes, the lava, everything that's at play here, it's a contender for one of the most difficult levels in the game to really learn this one, particularly if you don't have checkpoints. We did skip over a checkpoint earlier, so this is our first checkpoint here.
We'll be going for a massive jump over here into the shadow and darkness.
Yeah, just skipping this first curve. We'll go for the safer option, going to take the second curve here, but you can even go for something crazy to jump straight to where I am right now as well.
And another flawless showcase.
Yep.
Of quite a difficult level, honestly.
One of my favorite levels in the game, though, 4-14, I think is an absolute masterclass of design in this game.
And once again, we'll be climbing up this tower and trying to see our good mate Albert once again, perhaps for a very final showdown. Let's see what awaits us at the top over here.
Well, you've got a little peek, but...
In fact, it is not Albert.
Yeah.
I wonder where you could be. Not
quite done just yet. So we have one final level here. Own little final showdown, individual boss fight. Another example where RNG comes into play, but we'll see how we go. We have another 3 attacks in total, so 1 and 3rd to get the attack that we want. If we just path ourselves over. As soon as we see the attack that we don't want, we're going to retry. It removes it from the queue. So that was a 50-50 there, which we've lost as well. But this is now guaranteed to be the tentacle hit that we need. So we get Albert to just slap these little fireboxes. Removes the tentacle. So missiles, we're going to trace a path. Oh, I'm getting hit. Oh,
I don't know how you dodged that missile, but well done.
God, curving around the missile there, that's crazy. This should be guaranteed tentacle now.
Only got 2 of these fire generators left.
Yeah, no more rule of thirds. We have to hit all 4. But should be fine from here. Oh, we're going multiple attacks again.
Albert's going to go for another very quick beam attack right there. And are we going to see the tentacle come out? There it is.
Yep.
We only need 1 hit to beat this final showdown and to complete the game. Let's see it.
So it is going to be timed the second that this final tentacle hits the box. I'm going to give myself a little bit more space. I should be able to count you in as we get here, but yeah, this has been a very clean attempt today. Very happy with the time that we've hit. So here we go.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. That's time.
Well done.
43 minutes 32 is actually the fastest anyone has ever achieved at a live event. So very, very pleased with that. The aim was sub 44 today, but very happy to walk away with that one. We'll let the credits roll in the background, but again, just want to thank both ACMI and AusSpeedruns for hosting us here today. I do have a lot of love in my heart for this game. Speedrunning is a hobby of passion. And to have a showcase like this where I get to share my love for this one for you all, it's very special to me. So thank you all. And thank you, Osu, for joining me today. It's the first time having a co-commentator as well. It's been fun.
Oh, it's been a pleasure and an absolute joy to be able to see the fastest ever speedrun at a live event, like you said. Oh my goodness, I didn't expect you to pull out some of the flawless levels that you did.
Yes,
crazy.
Yeah, no, very lucky. As I said, this game received a bit of a second life recently, and thanks to that, there's actually a sequel in development. It's something that the developer never thought would be possible. That's had a successful Kickstarter at the end of last year, and we're looking forward to that at the start of next year. So if you're interested, go check out the demo for Super Sammy Roll 2 on Steam. It's free, and you can toy around with the game yourself. But for me, various quest mode unlocked.
Well done.
That wraps up my time with you all today, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much, SNC, for that fantastic run. We've had one super game, but what about another? Next up, we have Super Monkey Ball Master by Bar Hunger coming up very shortly. Stay tuned. Alrighty, who's ready for some Super Monkey Ball? We've got Master by Bahunga coming right up.
Okay, it's my time to shine. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Thanks for that Super Sammy Ball run as well. That was awesome. It's pretty cool having these both together. My name is Bahunga. I've got Dact with me today.
Hello. I've been enlisted for commentary. I haven't played this game in about 20 years, but
wasn't aware he would be doing commentary until he got here, but we'll make the best of it.
yeah.
Do I just count in, I guess, for the run?
It looks like text happy, so yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bars, the category's called Master. Basically, just beat all of the level, or not all of the levels, but get to the end of the expert difficulty. The catch being that if you game over at all, you can't unlock the Master levels.
Correct. So you have 2 lives to begin with. You see the monkey heads in the corner up there. That's all the lives that I get for the entirety of the run until I get to Master, basically. And so every 100 bananas, I'll get an extra life. So that's useful with these bonus floors. Usually in a run, you would skip these bonus floors, but marathon safety.
Yeah, it seems very worth it for a marathon to get the extra life.
Okay, nice.
I saw him practicing that before we started, so that's a good one to get out of the way.
There's a lot of very difficult floors at the beginning of the run.
Yeah, Monkey Ball's interesting run because it's like it's kind of self-explanatory in the sense of like you can see, surely you can tell that this is difficult going across all the like very thin platforms. Yeah, but there's also just some really janky physics sometimes where like hitting edges of stuff will just bounce you in weird directions and it's kind of hard to control sometimes. Oh, that's rough.
The good news is, if we manage to use that continue, there is the practice mode as a backup.
Yeah, I can just do the levels outside of the main path, I guess.
Okay, we're going to have to go with that, but that means that the rest of this section of the run, I will not have to care about safety.
Yeah, I can just go all out now.
Exactly.
Don't have to worry about game over. Yeah, a lot of these levels have like very crazy individual level strats because like there's a pretty big like individual level running community for this game, I think.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Because obviously doing everything in one go and like trying to, you kind of have to make some trade-offs of safety versus speed. But if you're just trying to beat a level as quickly as possible, you can do some really crazy stuff.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, so the only control in this game really is the control stick. There's no jumping, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole gimmick is that you're not really controlling your character, you're tilting the stage, and your character just moves based on the physics, which are sometimes not what you would expect. Like that.
So luckily with that, we don't have to go around any of those wires. And yeah, we used to continue, so we're not going to bother with the bonus floors anymore. Goodbye to that. You don't actually lose any lives for doing that either. This one's deceptively difficult.
Yeah. I guess there's like cycles to catch with
Correct, yeah.
making it across onto each platform.
Oh. I went for the fastest cycle you can get there. slow down a little bit this time.
Yeah.
And then this one's deceptively easy. But very cool.
I love that. You just see this big complicated level. And
Yeah.
it's like, nah, can't be bothered with that. So obviously these are bumpers. They will whack
Yep,
you
they-
way off the stage if you touch them.
That's what
Yeah.
a bumper does. That's what I was just showing off.
Yeah, thanks for thanks. For
I forget, like, floors are impressive sometimes.
it's too easy. Yeah, Bar's been running this game for a very long time.
Yeah, I started in 2013, so it's been about 12 years now. So we try to skip as many as we can there, trying to go back and forth the least amount of times.
And you'll see at the start of most of the levels, Bar's kind of moving left and right a little bit rather than just rolling straight forward, and that helps you gain speed a bit more quickly at the start.
Yeah, diagonals are a bit quicker with that.
It's like really obvious if you ever watch Super Monkey Ball 2, because all of those stages start with like a big straight, like straightaway at the beginning.
Correct.
See everyone like weaving a bunch at the start.
Again, no bonus. You thought like regular wires were fun. You have this thing trying to knock you off it at the same time.
I wonder who made this game.
Yeah, good question actually. Could have been Dole maybe. So now we have the longest floor in the run. Looks very strange, but
Yeah. Unfortunately, because the goal is like above where you start, there's no way to like fall onto it or do anything
yeah,
crazy stuff.
the
You have
only
to
skip
take-
we really have is that,
Yeah.
which is kind of significant. There's a good amount of turns that we don't have to do there. Oops. Quite enjoy the next floor though. Hopefully I get the cool strat,
Oh,
but
it's this one. Yeah.
yeah, it looks really nice. Fall off a little bit early. Ooh. Almost.
Recovered it pretty well though.
Yeah, we're fine.
So the goal is below us. So
Directly below. Don't need the rest of the floor.
yeah.
This is one of the harder ones. It kind of almost feels luck. No, it's completely skill.
It's only luck when you fail it.
Exactly. That's actually a really fun one to do normally, but a lot quicker not to. This one is genuinely kind of RNG. Unlucky.
Yeah, because it's like with the bounces off the edges of the platform.
Yeah,
right?
sometimes you
Yeah.
get a bounce, sometimes you just roll right off. There we go. More bonuses we can skip. So this one is just thin, thin, thin. Very, yes.
Precision is the name of the game.
Sorry?
I said precision is the name of the game.
Yeah. Starts off very thick and then gets very thin. Usually I don't actually get the banana bunch there. That would have been really nice if I needed bananas.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, it's fine.
That's what getting an extra life looks like. I'll try and...
This level's messed up. I hate this floor.
Getting a little corner skip there is a lot harder than it looks. I'll try and also get a skip on this corner. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
it didn't
well,
actually
you
end up
made it,
saving
yeah.
time, but... That one looks nice. I do like that. So, the expert category has 50 floors, and usually we'd have to get through all of those without using that continue, as we mentioned at the start. We have, I think, 3 warp goals throughout the category that skip a couple floors, so we end up skipping 5 floors in total. Which really isn't many, but we do have one of those coming up very soon. And, oh yeah, forget bonus floors.
Yeah, no, sometimes you'll see a floor that has 2 goals. And generally the harder one to get to will skip a floor
Yeah.
too. Or, yeah.
So here, you'll see there's 3 goals. There's a red goal, a blue goal, a green goal. The red one is the one that skips more. And yep. So we skip to floor 45 here. So when we do usually get to the end of expert without using the continue, we then get an extra 10 expert extra levels. So in this case, when I get there, I'll just immediately click exit game and go to the practice mode for those levels. But in the regular run, you'd also have to get through those 10 extra levels as well without using the continue to then get the 10 master levels.
Yeah, I'd be curious how many people even saw the master levels just playing.
Very low percentage.
Like, very few people.
Oh, unlucky. But the nature of the run is really good for speedrunning it, because you just start off by doing expert runs, and then as you get better naturally, then eventually you start being able to do that without running out of lives, and then so you can move on to the next category, which would be master.
And I guess there's like the other difficulties as well, right? There's like beginner and...
Yeah, but...
I don't know how popular they are.
Ooh.
Or easy, I guess.
It's very fun trying to get into that sideways goal. There we go. So here we have the 10 expert extra levels. Practice mode is very easy to get into and out. So it's the same as a normal one, really.
Yeah. Completely leaderboard legal, surely.
So stage, that's how we use the menu. There are a couple flaws in the Expert Extra levels that that are kind of like reused from Beginner Extra and Advanced Extra, but they're a bit harder. This is one of them. It just spins a lot slower in the other versions. Oh yeah. It's nice not having to worry about like safe strats.
Yeah, just go for everything. This should be the way to go for marathons, honestly.
There we go.
It's nice how fast you can go between levels as well in like the practice mode.
Yeah,
and how fast
exactly.
you can retry stuff. It seems like a really good game for like practicing.
This seems like a straightforward level, but
yeah. You just clip into the pipe.
yeah. I accidentally exited instead of practice, but it's still easy to get through. Yeah, you can actually make it from outside the tube into the goal directly, but you can also clip back into the tube, which is quite handy for us. I did die in that in practice, actually. Surprising, but... And then we come up on the... This is usually the last, like, actual hard floor before Master. The last one I'm, like, actually worried about losing lives on. Asteroid in my face, okay, sure.
Oh.
Yeah. There's no, like, real safe strat for it. You just kind of have to run at it and adjust. There we go. And then, yeah, this floor is just padding, really. It's quite easy. You just follow the hammer around as it hits the middle bit down.
I feel like I've seen there's an IL strat where you can get pushed upwards, right?
Yeah, there is a... It's done with pause buffering.
Oh, yeah, I guess we haven't mentioned that. There's
Yeah, I haven't done any of those.
Yeah, there's a thing you can do in this game that a lot of runners do, pause buffering, where you, in order to set up for specific, very precise strats, you can pause and use the timer to gauge what frame you're on and the cycles and
Correct,
stuff.
yeah. Technically, there's one here. I could... Here we go. So if I pause on that specific time, I can just hold up now, and this level will just beat itself.
Yeah, I think different runners have different, like, preferences as far as how much pause buffering to do, but yeah.
There's some very pretty floors in this this theme. Well, you don't need the staircase. Definitely one of the hardest floors in the run, this one, as you can tell immediately.
Yeah, I would never have guessed.
Yep. There we go. So this one you can see usually, maybe you could have seen, there's like platforms and you're supposed to like run to one at a time. But we can get a nice little bounce there and, ooh, that's very, okay, nice.
Very nice.
To make it in one go. Some of you might have noticed the logos in this game. You think this might be like a difficult level? No. This is another one that we use pause frames for. Okay, missed the frame there. And again. I didn't even repause. Here we go. Very precise strat, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine trying to do that without pause buffering.
This one's just fun. Very fun, like, when you don't know what you're doing, just to get hit around a bunch. First try, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, trying to land on that. Oh, that's definitely the thinnest wire in the game, and yeah. Also, time is after this floor. If I can get it.
Hold, hold.
Nope. One more go. Deceptive, this floor. There's lots of, yeah, big curves that are kind of hard to navigate. The goal itself actually moves quite fast. There we go, time.
Time. Very nice.
So, yeah, thanks everyone for having me for that run. It's very fun. You were very fun to listen to. Next up, we have Super Metroid, I believe.
Yeah.
What was that?
Alrighty, short and sweet, but still just as super. Next up, we have Super Metroid GT Classic by JRP. This is the final run. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. All right, it's Super, it's Metroid, it's JRP. Let's take it away.
Alrighty, hello, welcome to Super Metroid. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. So the category we're doing today is called GT Classic. So unlike other categories, this category utilizes a debug code that's left in the game. And that will give us every single item except Screw Attack pretty early. It's GT Classic referring to the boss Golden Chorizo. So when the boss initializes, it checks if you're holding the face buttons and will grant you every item except Screw Attack. The idea of the run is to get there as fast as possible, get all the items, and do a nice little boss rush. This is Ceres Space Station. So you're going to see me press the shoulder buttons a lot. Every time I do it, I advance 1 pixel forward. It saves a little bit of time over the run. Oh. These rooms are random, so like it's random if you can do them quickly. Nice. So yeah, like the idea is to we're going to go to Lower Norfair as fast as possible to go to Golden Chorizo to get all the items to do a boss rush. This category is kind of unique where there's a ton of techniques that you won't see anywhere else. I will be taking it a bit safe. There's a few points of the run where if you mess it up, you could potentially, well, in a regular speedrun setting, you have to reset. So there's going to be some safety saves. I'm also going to be grabbing high jump early, which makes one of the strats a bit easier to pull off. So now we're in Criteria, the early game, first area of the game. I'm going to do a few things. Oh. So we're going to do something called a moonfall. Basically, if you spin jump backwards. No. So, if you spin jump backwards, your speed cap gets removed. So you just infinitely build up speed. So we're grabbing the first item, Morph Ball. Morph Ball is very useful in the run. It will be very critical coming up. So Morph Ball lets you do something called a Mock Ball. So basically you get to roll in the ball, but keep your run speed. The reason why that's important is coming up, you can skip an entire mini-boss by utilizing it. By using the Mock Ball to bypass some gates in the next area. Dude. Hello? Yep. So coming up is a boss called Bomb Chorizo, and Bomb Chorizo is it's like Golden Chorizo. They're actually the same enemy, but the game checks which areas the enemy's in. So if it's in Criteria, which is this one, it will be Bomb Chorizo. If it's in Norfair, it loads up the other initialization code, where it checks the face buttons. It would be nice if we could have all the items straight away. Dang. So it's random if you can get a fast fight here. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough drops to accomplish a quick kill here. So now that we have bombs, we can leave and enter Green Brinster. So I should explain one of the tricks we're going to do to because usually to get into Lower Norfair you need gravity suit, space jump in that. But if you do a series of wall jumps, we're going to be doing it without gravity suit or space jump. We're going to be wall jumping off the enemies and the walls to get there early. That's why we're going to be doing a safety save, because there's no recovery from that. So coming up would be one of the biggest skips in the game. And doing that allows us to grab the super missiles straight away and skips an entire boss fight. It's one of the first major sequence breaks we're doing in this run. Now, so usually in other categories you will come in here and pick up the charge beam. We are actually not going to do that. So where we're going right now, we're going to go collect the power bomb, because we need power bombs to access Lower Norfair. Now, a trick coming up is called Red Tower. Well, this room's called Red Tower, and we want to get up there with our ice beam. Uh-oh. It's okay. Nope. There we go. So I'm going to just take this room a bit safe. So now we can have access to the power bombs. So now that opens up Lower Norfair, which is where we need to go. So that's all we need to come up here for. So I'm going to drop back down and we're going to go to Kraid because we need to grab the Varia suit, which gives us heat protection and damage reduction, which is what we need. Now we're going to do something, it's going to look weird, but we're going to lay a power bomb and deliberately shoot in this specific way. And that opens up the tube while we're running, because when we come back here, that tube's going to be broken. So now we've entered Craig's lair. So these rooms are pretty tricky, so like nice. It's probably one of the hardest strats in the whole game. If you that's something called a K-go. If you for some reason in this game, if you turn around or do another action, it actually interrupts your damage boost. So by doing the morphing action there, it actually cancels my damage boost. This is Craig. And that's Craig. So that's the infamous Craig quick kill. So if you, for some reason, if you time your shots just right, Craig's jaw gets locked, so like it just stays in place, and it's just enough to get a few shots in. So now we have Vari suit, so we get the damage protection. Oh. And we have good ammo too. We only have one power bomb. That's fine though, like I can change some strats around to make it work. It's very critical that you have a power bomb later on. If you do not, you're stuck. So this is the divergence in the route I'm doing. So usually you would go and grab that E-tank there and then come here, but we're going to grab high jump. High jump makes one of the rooms way easier and removes the stressful lava dive strat that you usually do. Nope. So now we've got high jump, so that means the lava dive we're going to do really soon is way easier now. So, huh? So we had to slow down that room because I don't have enough power bombs for it. Now, we don't have enough ammo, but that's okay, so... You know how many times I failed that room? That's such a hard room to do well. So this is the first safety save. And the second one is just after, or it's really shortly. Like, so this is why we needed the power bomb. So we are going to go over here just to farm. Because usually when you enter Lower Norfair, we're going to be doing something called Green Gate Glitch. And it's like a 1 to 2 frame window strat to open the gate from the wrong direction. And having more ammo means I get more tries at it. So here's lava dive, so we're gonna jump through this room and just go into the lava. Yeah. So that's one hard part done. Now we got to do the 1 to 2 frame window trick. So here's why we're doing the second save. Yeah, so grabbing high jump significantly makes that room way easier, because otherwise you have to do a very specific KO, like I mentioned before, to interrupt your damage boost, and then wall jump off the spikes onto the right side, and if you make any mistake, you die. So here's why having the power bomb is important. To progress, you need a power bomb here. For some reason, to go left, it checks if you have space jump, which is a really weird check. But here we go. First try. Now it's kind of funny, every time I do this in the marathon, I do the safety saves and I never fail it. So I'm holding all the face buttons now. Now we have every item. So we have to turn off spacer, because if you do not turn it off, the game will crash. As you can see, it's a pretty hard boss. That's Golden Chorizo. So now we grab, yeah, so when the game, when the boss initializes, it checks if you're holding the face buttons. And if you are, it just gives you every item. Uh-oh. It's okay. So, hang on. Ah, dude. It's okay. So the reason why you grab screw attack after is it doesn't actually give you the items, more that it resets your inventory. And so if I grab screw attack before I did it, you actually lose it forever. So now that we have every single upgrade, our movements, we have unimpeded movement throughout the whole game now. And that's what makes this category unique. It's a really fast category. There's a lot of stuff in this you won't see anywhere else. There's also a subset category called GT Code. If you do something called space-time beam, which is nice. You can actually wrong warp to the end of the game. Nice. It's okay. So what it doesn't show you is we also have grapple beam and X-ray, but because the HUD never initialized properly, we don't have it. So this is Ridley. So that's the Ridley fight. So it's a pretty straightforward fight, just shoot it. But killing Ridley is kind of awkward because he doesn't die when he has 0 health. It's like, he dies when specific things happen. Like if he flies to a certain point of the room or if you get grabbed. So I'm going to do something really interesting here. Dude. I could explain. So yeah, like there's a thing in this game called space-time beam, and it's basically if you have every beam equipped except wave beam, the game will the RAM will get corrupted very heavily, and if you use it correctly, you can actually use it to trigger the escape sequence. Very early. But we're not doing that on this run. We're just going to be killing all the bosses like normal. So now we're heading to Meridia. So interesting about this category is your boss order is Kraid, Ridley, Dragon, Phantoon. And this is only a category where it's actually possible to do Phantoon that late. Because other categories you need to do Phantoon to get the gravity suit to do like the rest of the game like Meridia and that. So this is Meridia. And we're going to be utilizing something we haven't seen yet. So it's something called microwaving. So if you fire off a charge beam and use X-ray, it actually runs down the iframes of the enemy, but your beam doesn't move. And what that means is you can just keep spamming X-ray and the boss will just die. Yeah, that's microwaving. Very interesting name. Nice. It's a pretty infamous trick there, getting a shine spark all the way up there. Very happy I got it, because it's not a very easy thing to do in this game. Because you have to do very specific wall jumps, and you have to shoot the door a very specific way. So this is Dragon. Now if you saw the boss before, you probably know how this is going. That's a really tight jump. But yet, Bottoon, which is the snake boss, Dragon, and Phantoon are the only bosses where you can do that in this category, because Ridley, when you shoot Ridley, it stops your beam straight away. And same with Mother Brain. Oh. So now we're off to the wreck ship to kill Phantoon. Yeah, this is the only category where you'd be doing Phantoon this late. Phantoon's going to possibly be the same thing. So Phantoon's infamous for ending runs, not because it's hard, but because of RNG. It can do a fast, slow, or mid pattern, and the time loss varies from like 10 to 20 seconds or something. So interesting. So here's the wreck ship. If I do this correctly, I should... Yeah. There's also another thing that I'm going to do that we haven't done in much this run. It's called a short charge. So when you run this, the way the speed booster works is it doesn't check how long you're holding the button. It only checks if you're pressing the button at specific points. So, and if you let go of the button, you stop building up speed. So if you just keep pressing the button only when it checks, you can get a speed booster with really low speed. Nice. So we got a mid pattern, so it's still pretty decent. So that's Phantoon done. We have pretty good health too. I can't tell you how many times I get here, my health's pretty low. But we're doing pretty decent. So now we're actually almost done. We're going to Torian now. Nice. Nice. It's way harder than it looks. You have very tight window to shoot that door. Get the mock ball in. So this is what we refer to as G4, the golden 4. That's what I meant by this is a kind of interesting category because it's very quick. There's a lot of stuff in Tekken that's not usually valuable in any other category. So coming up is probably some of the hardest rooms in the entire game, the Metroid rooms. Metroid rooms are pretty infamous for being terribly difficult to execute, because they require a lot of awkward inputs. Especially the third Metroid room. You have to kill all the Metroids to progress, so... I'm actually gonna do one extra safety save because it's unlikely to happen, but like there is a potential soft lock that can happen, but very unlikely, and I don't want to have to do like 20 minutes of the game again. Nope. That's one room down. One more. I'm actually going to opt to group here because we actually are not getting ammo. So we need ammo for the Mother Brain fight. And we need health too because we're going to be doing something called stand-up. Usually during the Mother Brain fight there's a cutscene that plays and you're forced into a crouch. And we can stand up during that cutscene and save a bunch of time by killing Mother Brain during the cutscene. Whoop. There we go. I'm actually shocked I still got it because I landed on the Ripper that was on the ground that disintegrated. And that almost made me miss it, but I somehow got my jump back in. So here's the last safety save. Just once again, want to remove any chance of potentially losing a lot of time. So I'm going to do something called Zeb Skip here. It's okay. So there's two ways you can do the Zeb Skip. I didn't get the first one, so there is a second one you can do. It's usually the intended one you're supposed to do, but because my ammo was too low, I had to not do it. The idea is you want to get to this room at full health, and doing it that way, you do 0 damage. So this is Mother Brain. We're going to be trying to get stand-up glitch. So you're going to be seeing me pause the game to refill my health, because you need at least 700 health for the glitch to work, or else you get forced into the cutscene pose. So we have names for all these attacks Mother Brain does. You've got the meatball, you've got the onion rings, the French fry, the ketchup. So I'm going to be taking damage here. Then I'm going to be deliberately taking more damage. There we go. So getting to 100 health triggers the next cutscene, and we're going to be doing something really specific. So normally you will be stuck in a crouch pose here. So during this cutscene, you're normally not supposed to be able to move around like this, but well, the good news is we're not going to soft lock. Ah. Oh. You got to catch that, because if you don't press select fast enough, you soft lock. So we're going to do something called the Blue Bomber, in reference to Mega Man, which is that specific jump. Am I saving them or what? Yes. Yes. Okay. Unless... fun fact, if you save the animals, these blocks up here clear. They're just gone. For some reason they check if you save them. That's not fair. Hang on. Yes! GG, time. I hope you enjoyed that run. So that's GT Classic. It's just a pretty quick category where you get all the items, and it's basically like a quick boss rush with unimpeded movement. We get to see the little dot that moves because we save the animals. There it is. And that is Super Metroid.
Where am I sitting? All right, here we are. Thank you everyone for joining us for ACMI and AusSpeedruns presents Speedrunning Weekend. This has been a phenomenal... This has been a phenomenal event to both run and organize, and for everyone to be here has been incredibly special. This has been us. We are AusSpeedruns. We like to host events like this, both in Adelaide and in Melbourne. Please, if you're here at ACMI, visit the shop, visit any of the other exhibitions. I can talk. They're all fantastic. Thank you especially to all the runners and our lovely tech team who give their generous time and effort. We love them lots. With that, I think that's me. Everyone have a fantastic time and farewell.